This is your morning Buzzcast for Friday, September 5th. Good morning, I'm Abe Madcore. Well, a drama-filled beginning to the NFL season with the Eagles beating the Cowboys Thursday night in a game that ended after midnight Eastern Time because of delays. It should mean a very strong viewership number. And tonight, Friday, the NFL returns to Brazil for the second straight year. So this is the gap between the kickoff game and Sunday's Week 1 action, a game in São Paulo exclusively on YouTube. That's Chiefs Chargers, a key divisional game early in the year played in Brazil. Now, to be clear, it's on YouTube and not exclusive to YouTube TV. It'll be free and available for most viewers. Another experiment by the NFL to test platforms and reach audiences. And with no paywall, it broadens the potential audience, but let's make sure YouTube will be able to have a clean, smooth streaming operation and production and handle the big demand. NBC will handle the production of the YouTube broadcast. Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner on the call. Chargers Chiefs will both have their logos on the field Friday night, even though it's technically a Chargers home game. What else to know about the NFL? Well, the league opens the season with a league record 46 sponsors, including 6 brands that are making their debut. Adobe, NetApp, Novartis are entering their rookie season with the league, as is Jersey Mike's, which replaced Subway after Subway did not return last season after 5 years as the league's official sandwich. Subway was the only sponsor that did not return this season. The other 2 new sponsors, Abercrombie & Fitch and Breitling. And yes, I would expect to see a lot of ads from Jersey Mike's running this season. But overall, let's take a look. Life is very good for the NFL, and that's clearly evident when digging into the results of a CivicScience SBJ Sports Consumer Insight Survey. It showed the league has overwhelmingly positive fan sentiment. It made me think back to years ago, where during the Super Bowl week of 2018, after all the conversations I had with sources, I wrote, quote, "A season-long narrative reached a crescendo. The NFL's place in American culture is eroding, and it will never have its lofty status of years ago. The NFL has immense challenges," end quote. Now, does that sound like the NFL of today? Not at all, because the storylines that threatened the league not that long ago, player health and safety, ratings drops, player activism, public trust, all those issues the league and its leadership have moved on from. And the league and leaders deserve great credit in their ability to move beyond those concerns. The survey shows very little headwinds facing the league. Right now, among fans, the biggest worry is the high cost of attending games. But after that, the issues of concern drop to areas around officiating, penalties, the games are too long, too many commercials. Those are manageable threats for the league. Also, from the survey, years ago, Commissioner Roger Goodell was a big, easy target. He was not winning any popularity awards. So it's very noteworthy that 80% of avid NFL fans rate his job performance as excellent, good, or fair. And so that's a very strong number. Goodell has become so confident, so capable, and more in command than ever. And it's really reflected in the success of the NFL, which just continues to become more and more important in global culture. Let's move on from the NFL, but stay with football. And does this bode well for football viewership? Listen to this. Texas, Ohio State, last Saturday, 16.6 million viewers on Fox. It was the best Week 1 game ever for college football on any network. But it wasn't just Fox. 3 of ABC's 4 games in Week 1 topped 10 million viewers, and it was the network's best Week 1 on record. We have already noted that ESPN's College Game Day ended up with a record-setting 4 million viewers last Saturday, and that was for Lee Corso's final show, and that was the most watched episode of Game Day in its history. So yes, while SBJ's Austin Karp has noted that Nielsen's measurement has changed slightly, these numbers are still a massive start to the college football season. I think it bodes well for a very strong viewership year for football overall. Let's move off football. Credit Steve Ballmer, the Clippers owner. He is not hiding in the wake of allegations of impropriety facing the team. As he said Thursday, he believes the NBA should investigate into whether Ballmer and the Clippers violated league rules because Kawhi Leonard accepted a $28 million endorsement from Aspiration, a now bankrupt company in which Ballmer had invested in. Ballmer said that salary cap circumvention rules are important to the league, and he would want the league to investigate. Ballmer said Aspiration asked him to introduce Leonard to the company, but Ballmer denied he had knowledge of the endorsement contract that the sides eventually agreed to, or that he directed the company to do any deal. Now, there's still a long way to go in this story, but teams hate it when it's seen if their fellow colleagues are circumventing any rules. And you know the teams will push Adam Silver to bring the hammer on sports' wealthiest owner if it's proven that the Clippers did break the rules. But let's just say, Ballmer is a very public, positive face for the NBA. He is a close ally of Adam Silver. So this is all worth watching to see how public the NBA wants to be in this effort, this investigation, and possible punishment. Let's stay with basketball. If you're in the WNBA, I'm sure they're thinking and talking about how, somehow, do they keep their star players healthy. And now, most notably, Caitlin Clark. What a discouraging year for her. Clark has been ruled out for the remainder of the season due to injury. She has played in only 13 games this season. She hasn't played since mid-July. And this comes after she did not miss one game in college. So this is a big disappointment for the league and for the Fever and for fans. But it doesn't slow the ambitions of Pacers Sports and Entertainment and the Fever, who will continue to build on the global appeal of Caitlin Clark. Here's evidence. The team began construction on a new practice facility for the Fever. They broke ground Thursday. It will cost roughly $80 million. It's one of the few practice facilities dedicated to a WNBA team. It will be open in May of 2027. This is a massive step for the foundation of the Fever, and it continues to position Indy as a really best-in-class sports city. So the Fever's bottom line is they believe it can be the global leader in women's sports. They believe in the WNBA's growth potential. They believe the Fever will be leading that growth potential, and that presents an unprecedented opportunity. And that's where the organization is really thinking super big, super ambitious in what they can achieve, and the practice facility is just one more indicator of how big their plans are in Indianapolis. And finally, you know I'm a tennis guy. We have some great U.S. Open matches to end the tournament this weekend. But a note, my childhood hero was Bjorn Borg. Bjorn Borg told the AP this week that he was diagnosed with an extremely aggressive form of prostate cancer, but that is in remission after an operation last year. Now, Bjorn Borg is 69. He was such an amazingly cool force in tennis during my childhood. He was the best. And he now is clear of cancer, said he is feeling very, very good. That's welcoming to hear. I'm continuing good health for my hero, Bjorn Borg. So today's 4 takeaways from the Buzzcast. First, public sentiment very positive for the NFL. Fans believe the league is in a very good place. There are very few headwinds that could impact the popularity of the NFL, but we know that can change on a dime. But right now, life is good for the NFL. Number 2, watch viewership numbers. With the inclusion of big data that my colleague Austin Karp writes about, viewership figures should be very strong for pro and college football this year. Number 3, the NBA, it will face a delicate, sensitive investigation into one of its most popular owners in Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. And number 4, Pacers Sports and Entertainment and the Fever are investing big around the future of the franchise because they know they have a generational star in Caitlin Clark, and they will do all they can to build around that personality. Case in point being a new $80 million training facility that just broke ground for the Fever. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Friday, September 5th. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy. Be good to each other. I'll speak to you next week.